Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for being here on High Vibin' It. You're listening to your host, Kelsey Aida, inspirational blogger, author, and coach, I guess. I help
And
you.
awesome lady.
An awesome lady, according to Lindsay.
Yes.
Basically, I help people to live their best life by owning their power and mastering their emotions and manifesting their desires and loving the crap out of themselves. And Miss Lindsay Robinson is my awesome co-host, who's also, what'd you call me? A lovely lady.
An awesome lady.
An awesome lady.
Yes.
And
I dive deep into people's subconscious minds and help them create their lives through removing limiting beliefs. And I'm kind of introducing myself to Emily because we have an amazing guest today. So in a nutshell, yes, we both, Kelsey and I, help people live their best damn life and own their power and realize how awesome they always were in various ways. And enter our guest who does
Hi. Well, I'm just so honored to be here and be in the energy of you both. You both are vibrating so high, and it's just, well, it's perfect. It's actually no pun intended for this episode, right?
I'm vibing it.
I love it. I love it. I do something very similar. I think that we are all meant to be on this call, actually, because I help people extract their gifts from a lot of the pain that they've experienced in their life and use it to serve and develop a business by doing that. So utilizing a lot of the stuff that just we've moved through and really put a process around it to help other people and serve.
Yes,
Beautiful.
Transformation.
Yep.
Mastery. I love it. Also, if you guys didn't catch her name, it's Emily Thomas, and she's joining us for the next 45 minutes, hour, however long it takes to talk about a few different things. So Emily has a family and a business, just like Lindsay. I guess I don't have a family with kids yet, but I have my little family of me and my boyfriend and my business. So we wanted to kind of dive into like how to find more balance and harmony and create that in your life, because I think that's something we're all working towards, especially if you're working from home more than you used to be and things of that nature. And also, we're going to talk to Emily today about how can we learn to trust ourselves more, because I've noticed in my coaching practice and just in general, this question keeps coming up like, oh, I want to trust myself more, but I don't know how. So we're going to work on some tips and tricks for healing that today too. So Emily, if you don't mind by just giving everyone a brief little intro into how you got into this work, maybe your story, and then we can dive into like the how-tos.
Oh, for sure. Well, again, thank you so much for having me on. It's just an honor to be here. My story really starts off just from a child. I was my parents used to call me the Pied Piper because I used to be the kids used to be so attracted to me. And I loved working with children. And I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a school teacher. And so I went that route. I went to college. I got my credential. I was a school teacher. I taught, kindergarten and fifth grade. And at the time, I didn't even have the language around it to understand why I really loved teaching. But now I see that the reason I love to work with children is because I like to show them what was possible. I like to get creative on helping them understand new concepts, new beliefs, new ways of, taking on the world without the pressures of a lot of societal things that we're really pushing on people to know, but like allowing them to explore it themselves. So I loved that aspect about teaching. But I also loved really working with people in general. And I didn't realize that until I was approached randomly by somebody when I was down in San Diego, living in San Diego teaching, who said, he saw me socializing in a park and he was like, Emily, you should be in medical device sales. Like you have something special. And I was at the time,
That's very specific.
Well, okay, so I was like, what? He actually said pharmaceutical or medical device. And at the time I was like one track mind teacher mode. So I had no idea what it meant. And I'm even embarrassed to admit that now that I had no idea what even that was. But I went home that night and I started learning about like, okay, what this career actually looks like. And he said, just if you're open to it, give me a call. And, if you want to learn more about it, then, reach out. And so I've always been in the mindset of why not, like you have nothing to lose. You can always learn something. So I did a little research. I found out a little bit more about Pfizer, and I searched for the big companies and learned a little bit what they do. And then I just gave him a call. I said, "Hey, why not? I'm excited to learn about something new." And he said, "Really? Well, you have, if you're in San Diego, we're having our national sales meeting down in Seaport Village at the Hyatt. If you want to come by." And again, something within me was like, why not? Me with the whole teacher background, zero sales experience. I doctored up a resume that only had teaching on it and sat myself in the lobby for their breakout sessions. And, I'm going somewhere with this, but so I met with these people, these random people that I had no idea who they were, just learning about the industry. And the people that I was mingling with, it really brought out an essence within me, again, that reminded me a lot of the teaching and working with a lot of people that I work with today. Is everybody has a story, everybody has a background, and it's so incredible once you break through those barriers that we all have on the outside, right? Where we can actually see that there's a commonality between all of us. So even if they were in the medical industry and I was a teacher, I was able to find some commonalities to connect with people on a way that allowed me to rise to the occasion and really speak to their business, which I had no idea what I was talking about. But the experience lended itself so well to my personal growth because I stepped out of my comfort zone. I had no idea what I was doing, but these people became lifelong friends that helped me get my first medical device job. And I was in medical device sales for 10 years. Loved the profession. I really was, really successful because I approached it with such a teaching mentality and educating the doctors, the physicians, the C-suite about how to provide best patient care. And after 10 years of, the rat race, some might call it, I was raised to be very, athletic and really have a very strong work ethic. And I think that those are very, very solid qualities, but I also feel like with those qualities, you can sometimes ignore the subtleties the cues that your body gives off. And, the spiritual side of things too. And I didn't realize that, after 10 years, something was so missing for me. I had everything on paper, but I felt so empty. I was silently suffering. I felt like I was so disconnected from myself, my relationships. Things were just not where I wanted them to be. And I felt guilty for even saying that. I felt guilty for admitting it. I felt guilty for, because I felt like I had everything that I had ever wanted. But then something happened. Actually, this is what happens, right? The universe will intervene if you don't pay attention, right? So I had the interventions that forced me to pay attention because Lord knows I was about to just, put pedal to the metal and let bygones be bygones, let things be, still fight my way through, make my quota, make the dollars, all this stuff. But then I just realized, I have to pay attention. And really a couple of things happened. It had to be a couple of things, of course, for me to pay attention. But one of those really big significant things was I developed an eating disorder and I didn't even realize it. I didn't even put the language around it because I was like, oh no, that can't be me. But I would either eat a ton, like go to Taco Bell and order enough for a family, or I'd eat nothing, and I would also starve my body of sleep. I'd deprive myself of, any self-love. So that disconnection just kept growing further and further and further. And I didn't even know who I was anymore. I was unrecognizable. And when you're in that space of not knowing who you are, how are you supposed to approach the world? How are you supposed to find relationships that are, beneficial for both parties? How are you going to show up for your friendships, for your family? And so I saw this compounding effect happen around me, and I knew I needed to make a change. So I know I'm taking forever to answer your question, but from that point, it allowed me to really do something that was very uncharacteristic, where I remember the exact moment. I was sitting in my living room in Santa Monica, and I booked a one-way ticket to Bali by myself. And I had never been to Bali. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't know who I was going to be with. I didn't know a single thing. But something greater than me came inside my body and kind of took over. The keys were typing. It just came over me. I had no plan. I didn't even take off time from work. And I just went for it. And a lot of times people say, oh, the eat, pray, love thing. Oh, the vacation, you just escaped. But it was so farther from the truth for me. Like I went there and I did the dirty work. I did the deep, 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 deep inner work with the shadow. A lot of it was really painful. Actually, a majority of it was very painful. A lot of it was just rediscovering who I was, peeling back the layers of the onion of, okay, is this something I really want to be? Is this something I don't want to be? Is this something I learned? Is this what society wants me to look like? And then using that, that really, really powerful tool that we all have to discern between what we really want to be and what we've been told we want to be. So I kind of pieced the puzzle back together and decided who I really wanted to be. And that was a process. It took hours and hours of meditation, of mentorship, of deep diving into the shadow, deep diving into the person I wanted to be. And, as a result, that helped me really elevate my vibration. But the byproducts of all of that, without me really manifesting something, like saying, oh, I really want, a million.
This is where it gets good. This is where it gets good, guys.
All of this stuff started happening for me. I manifested my husband. I manifested my daughter. I manifested 2 businesses. I manifested some of the best friends of my entire life. And it was this most incredible thing because I became in alignment with the person I was meant to be. So thank you for listening to all that.
I'm so inspired freaking by your story. Well, the first thing that kind of struck me was you now identify that you had an eating disorder. You were so disconnected, in your own words, so disconnected, and you just kept making that gap bigger until one day you were just like, I can't do this anymore. And I see clients all the time, can't. What if I can't reconnect? What if I can't come back? And I want to speak on that for a second because it's so common for people to feel like after everything that's happened to me, everything I've done, everything that I now take responsibility for, what if I can't? So can you just give a nugget of like, because I know you must have felt that too. Like, what if I can't? What if this is too much? What would you say to them?
I think one of the hardest things to actually do is just surrender. And I think whether it doesn't matter what you believe in, it doesn't matter if it's, the universe, if it's God, if it's, whatever, if it's you, it's just knowing that you are held, that you are an angelic being of light, a soul wrapped in skin here for a reason. And no matter what you do, you are perfect the way you are. So without seeking your purpose in life, you're already perfect. So I think just recognizing that you're already here and just being alive is a gift takes off that pressure, from actually pushing and saying, oh, well, what if it doesn't work? And once you just ease into that and surrender and say, I'm healthy, I'm a human, I'm alive. And from here on out, everything that happens is my choice because I get to decide.
Perfect.
Get to really create my destiny. Then it becomes a lot more fun and enjoyable. You get to have fun with it, right? You get to create your life. You get to be the co-creator, right? And it takes that external pressure off of expectations, right? Yeah. And so that's what I would recommend.
I love it. And the other thing that stuck out to me is you, as you said, without trying, this beautiful alignment that you've created for yourself kind of flowed into your, I guess the best way I would put it is like what your soul knew you needed and what your soul knew was the path for you. So you manifested the marriage, you manifested your daughter, you manifested the career in such a, to correct me if I'm wrong, in such a more perfect way than you ever could have planned it out. Yeah. True?
Absolutely.
And that happens all the time. I just think it's so beautiful that you brought light to that, because once you get right with you, and you feel right with you, dude, freaking magic.
So
It's
amazing.
awesome.
And I think that's really important that you say this too, because I think sometimes we get so hyper focused on manifesting. I'm manifesting a husband. I'm manifesting losing 10 pounds. I'm manifesting a Range Rover, whatever it is. And we lose sight of the gift of the process. And sometimes we have to realize that what's coming for us is way better than we can even imagine. So it's that, again, that act of surrendering even further and just saying, okay, whatever is coming is going to be great because I'm doing my part. I'm elevating myself.
Yes.
I'm meditating. I'm doing the breath work. And you know what? That's the other part too, is that there's so many different modalities. Like you can do breath work, you can run, you can surf, you can do whatever really builds you up. So really settling into the emotion of what gives you light and what helps you feel elevated. So a lot of times people say like, you know, this is the recipe for elevating your vibration. And I think that there's definitely some truth to that, but I also feel like it's unique. We're each unique.
You got to find yours. Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, if that means that you go for a walk or you're cooking, you love cooking, or you love spending time with your grandma, you know, whatever that is for you, just really tune into that emotional body and see what brings you light. And I think because I was a teacher, I do see that there's such a lack of education around understanding your emotions, of really feeling the emotions all the way through. So often we are pushed in a way that we like even what's going on in politics right now, or the COVID, you know, a lot of us haven't been taught how to feel our emotions. We've been taught to avoid that. Any bad feeling is actually, we should push it away, and we should really hide from that. That's not normal. We should always be happy. And in reality, us always being happy is actually unrealistic and not true. Right? By reaching for Netflix or reaching for food or using sex or alcohol to avoid, we're only exacerbating the problem. So I think that's a lot of my work too, is really understanding the emotion, really feeling what it feels like sometimes to feel the fear, feeling what it feels like to be a failure, like feeling the bad stuff too. But it's all important because that's the whole emotional spectrum. Because when you feel the dark stuff, like what I did in Bali, it allows you to experience the light and appreciate the light, right?
Yeah. And I think it's important that you find your own thing. Also, speaking back to what you said about taking the pressure off yourself, like, isn't it just more fun to follow what brings you joy? And that's it. Like, of course, yes, take action. Of course, you know, do your best. But like the main ingredient to get right with you is just remember what makes you happy. Remember what truly brings you joy, and just freaking do more of it. Like, and it feels good. And it really is, it can be that easy, you know?
It's so true. And we like to overcomplicate everything, right?
Anyway, Kelsey, I know you want to say stuff. Why don't you go?
Just been sitting here in silence, waiting for my moment. Yeah, I love where this conversation is going, because isn't it so true that manifesting is really just the game of alignment? Everybody thinks, oh, it's about visualizing. Oh, it's about this. Oh, it's about that. I mean, those are small parts of it, but at the end of the day, you're going to get to where you want to go by coming into alignment with yourself, with your values, with your preferences, with your boundaries, with your highest potential, with your healing, with your energy. Like, it's really about you coming home. And that's when you can really experience life to the fullest. And like a side effect of that being, well, I don't really feel so obsessed about cars and money and houses and things anymore because I actually feel fucking great. And then it just also just comes along because you wanted it before and now you're finally in alignment to have it, and boom, there it is, cherry on top. But you don't make your whole life about manifesting stuff and things, because I think a lot of people's spiritual journeys start that way. They're like, I want this, I want that. Ooh, I can manifest it. I'm the creator of my own reality. Let's dive into this rabbit hole. And then you go all egocentric into like me, creating all this stuff, yada, yada. But it's like, at the end of the day, that's going to lead you to a healing journey, because you have to come into alignment with someone who can hold space for those things and actually appreciate them and enjoy them. So yeah. I just wanted
love
to
how you said
make that correlation.
I think that that's so powerful too. I think that there's so much truth to the fact that, you know, it's a gateway into so many different things, right? So even if there is a little bit of ego involved initially, that's okay. I know sometimes like people get into yoga because they want to wear the yoga gear, or they want to like, but then when they drop into that really deep meditation for the first time and they're like, oh shit, this is it. Like, I get what it's about, whatever it is to get you there, like all for it. You know what I mean? No judgment on any parts. And I think that that's so beautiful how well you just put that, because a lot of times we like to judge, hey, like, oh, they're in it for the wrong reasons. Oh, they're manifesting that. Hey, you know what? Everyone is on their own journey. We're all at different paces. And I think that's all a part of the journey too, like appreciating everyone else's journey, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that just to speak a little bit more about like the self-trust aspect, I think what comes to mind is when we are in that space where we're being asked to really come into alignment. So the first question that comes to mind is, okay, so how do I know when I'm out of alignment, and how do I get into alignment? And a lot of the alignment piece starts with trusting yourself, because and getting to know like who it is you are. And that can be sometimes the hardest part, right? So how do we really unpack that in a way that's productive, right? So it's not just opening a can of worms where you're like, oh shit, what am I looking at here? Instead, it's like, how can I look at this in a way that's going to be helpful to myself and helpful to others? So one of the best ways, and a couple of ways that I like to develop more self-trust, and the more self-trust that you create, that creates more alignment, right? So that's what we're all coming back to, right? And just as Kelsey said, the alignment creates the manifestation. So it's all this chain reaction. So if we're starting from the self-trust piece, I want you to think about trust in the way your body remembers things, right? Your body remembers the actions that you've taken. It remembers, it really takes a tag of everything that you've done. It takes tally of, the things that, if you've given birth, it's like, oh gosh, here we go. I got this. You know what I mean? Or if you're scared of heights. Sometimes you'll get up into a large building and you'll automatically feel a little bit of anxiety come up. It's because your body remembers things. So what I'm getting at here is I think that a lot of times we want to retrace some instances in the past that have been really productive. So when we can make a list, an inventory list of things that we've done really well, or maybe you were able to hold space for your friend when she was going through something really challenging. Really just kind of do a log of all of these beautiful memories that you have done for yourself. Now, this is going to help you with a couple of things. It's going to, one, obviously give you some more self-trust, because it's going to help you build that bank up. Two, it's also going to help you realize like these might be some of your secret gifts that you have to offer, right? So your confidence is already going to start backing that up as well. Now, the other side of this is to step into the energy. So this is the second way to approach the self-trust, is to really step into the energy of having it already, right? So this is a big piece of manifestation as well, is owning the feeling. So how are you feeling when you are on stage? Are you feeling really powerful? Are you eloquent with your vocabulary? Are you speaking with conviction? People are in awe. They're, so you're really feeling the emotion of the event. That is an example of really stepping into that energy. When you're stepping into that energy, you're calling that in immediately. Like you're actually activating a higher version of you to come through. It's all available for you in the quantum field. It's just, you have to step into that action and that space of being it and embodying it. And when you're there, you start to develop more self-trust as well, because you're almost faking out the body of being already in it, which adds to the log of your body remembering it and putting it into that space of remembering, if that makes sense.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of High Vibin' It. You are here with your girls, Lindsay Robinson, my friend and certified hypnotherapist, and now you are trained in
EFT.
Woo!
Just recently added that, so I'm super excited.
Awesome.
Emotional freedom technique. You should look it up and start implementing it, because it's bomb.
And we've done episodes on this. We did one with Brad Yates. So go back in the archives if you're like, what is this? I want to learn. That's a great place to start. And I am Kelsey Aida, your inspirational blogger, author, life coach, you name it, I help you. So,
Jacqueline of all trades.
yes, that manifesting generator, having your hands in many cups, or however they say.
You know, whatever they say.
whatever that saying is. So today, it's just me and Linz, no guests. We wanted to come back to the basics and just have a really awesome conversation for you guys. I was going to say with you, but obviously you're not talking to us in this moment. But a conversation.
I don't know that, Kels. Maybe they are.
Energetically.
Yes, I agree. Whoever just said that. See, now I'm talking back to them.
Because today's episode, we are answering your deepest burning questions that you guys asked me on Instagram a few days or weeks ago. I'm getting the time all slurred together because I just moved to a new state. But yeah, so today we're going to do Q&A and just answer your guys' questions about manifesting, living your best life, whatever questions come up here. I did answer them slightly in my Instagram story, but I wanted to go into more depth and get Lindsay's perspective too, so that we could have a really great episode for you, because chances are if one person has the question, a lot of people have the question.
Yes.
And luckily, we have access to a lot of fucking answers. So we are here to give them to you and channel them for you.
Yay.
Yay. So let's get started. Just dive in, right?
Yeah. Well, what's the first question that pops out to you?
So the first question that we have here, basically what I said is ask me anything about manifesting, self-love, happiness, etc. And somebody asked, what is the science behind the law of attraction? And they put the law of attraction in quotation. So I'm not really sure if this was like a hater just being like, well, what's the science behind the law of attraction? Or if this was actually like a genuine question.
Like if they were trying to be respectful and put it in quotes, like.
Right. So okay. I don't really know, but also I don't care because I'm still going to give the answer. So
yeah.
Linz, I'm curious to see how you would explain this.
Do I look like a scientist?
Like, do I look like a quantum physicist lady?
So, okay. Well, I mean, I can see, I honestly, why are you asking me for? So, okay, here we go. I'm going to do my best here. The science behind law of attraction. Well, it's all metaphysical, isn't it? So you can't really there's no material, tangible 3D evidence. It's all experiential. And I have so much experience under my belt with this. And everybody does. Like, that's the thing. The person that wrote that question has seen moments in their life where they're like, whether or not they say, like, did I manifest this? Or, oh, that's a coincidence. Like, that's weird timing kind of thing. We're always attracting, like attracts like, energy. It's just, I don't want to say basic physics because I don't know basic physics, but I do know that energy attracts like energy. And so what you're putting out there, everything's energy. That is also science. That's science. Ask Bill Nye. Everything is energy. Everything's vibrating on a microscopic, atomic level, atom level. Everything's vibrating with energy. So your thoughts are no different. You're putting thoughts, energy, feelings out there. You're going to attract what you're putting out. It's just the way it is.
And if it's called the law, just like the law of gravity.
It's the law.
Even though it's not like a written in stone law, it's something that everybody observed, like, oh, gravity is happening all the time for everybody. Yeah. So we're going to call it a law. Because
you know what's crazy though?
The pattern that it is always happening for us.
I was watching this documentary on like the laws of, I don't know, I think it's the laws of physics or something, or the different characteristics of physics where it's like momentum or centrifugal force, and gravity was one of them. They don't really have a lot of science to support gravity. No one can figure out what it is or how it happens, and but yet it's still a thing. It's
still happening all the time.
Gravity is like, you ask my husband about gravity, he's like, oh, okay, don't even get me started on gravity.
So here's the thing about the law of attraction, you guys. The law of attraction can all be explained by quantum physics, which is kind of also hilarious because even quantum physicists can't really figure out quantum physics. It's really just this giant field of study where they realize one thing, but then they realize, oh, that's true, but also this is true, and then also this is true, and then that thing that we thought was true, it's actually more than that, and it's like an ever unfolding study. So it's funny because the way that I look at science is like a way for people to try and make sense of like spiritual stuff. So it's like the way that humans try and wrap their brain around the unwrappable, the things that you just can't understand or fathom, or the mystical, or the way that the world works, or even mathematics. Like it can all be tied to spirituality, and science is just another lens where you're trying to find patterns and rules and reasoning and logic behind the mystery of life and the world and the universe. So to answer the question, the law of science, the law of attraction can be explained by quantum physics. Basically, your mind, your thoughts are energy, right? And everything is created from the quantum field, which is like the universal field of consciousness. And matter is actually, like, when you break it down, it just breaks down into energy. So your thoughts can create things because your thoughts are energy and things are energy. That's like the most basic way I can tie the two together. But I have a lot of good book resources.
Oh my God, I was just going to say a book.
Okay, you share yours and then I'll share mine.
It might be one that you're actually going to recommend, but there's a book that one of my clients was reading during our sessions called E Squared.
Yeah, I was going to.
Is that one of them?
Yeah,
by Pam Grout, and it's like 9 do-it-yourself energy experiments. So the next thing I would say is try it yourself. If you want to know the science behind it, there's no bigger confirmation to me than experience. So I would say put these tests to the test and see how it goes for you. But that's a really great place to start.
Yeah, E Squared by Pam Grout. We'll link to all these books in the show description, but she does a really great job of putting quantum physics into layman's terms, and then she gives you all these really cool exercises to try so you can prove to yourself that it works. So that's a really fun book. Also, Joe Dispenza is one of my favorite spiritual teachers who approaches it from the scientific and research perspective. And he's always hooking people's brains up to fancy machines while they're meditating and doing all these studies and research to explain like the phenomenons that are miracles and manifesting and changing states of consciousness. And he has a bunch of good books, so pretty much anything from Dr. Joe Dispenza is great. Also, Deepak Chopra explains a lot of science in his books about manifesting. The newest book that I think we've recommended on the show,
yeah, we both have it,
Metahuman. That's a great one. It goes into some of the science. Dr. Joe Vitale is another awesome author who we had on the show. So
yeah, we did.
Go back and listen to that episode. He's so awesome, and a lot of his books go into some of the science too. So a lot of these male authors, they like to go into the science. I'm guessing it was a dude who asked this question, because I feel like, I don't know, something about the male brain. They just love logic and reasoning and rationale, which I think is great.
Me too.
Sweet.
I love logic, which is why, like, I don't know. Yeah. If I can explain it to someone else, then I'll truly believe it. And as far as like the manifesting thing goes, it's so simple to me because I've seen it so many times. And I'm just like, you think a thought and that person calls you. That's not a coincidence. It's all an energy transfer. So,
or like I was talking about this with my boyfriend the other day, like he's like, how come when you look at like a homeless person, they know, and then they look at you, like if you're driving by or something and they're asking for money, or if you're driving and someone in the car next to you, you're like watching them pick their nose, and
that's
then
a
all
good
of a sudden
test.
They like look at you. Like it's because we're all connected.
That's that thing where like
attack when you're looking at someone.
Like you've all had that feeling, I'm sure, where you've either been on the receiving end or you did it, where somebody's sleeping and you're staring at the person or being looked at while your eyes are closed and you're like, someone's looking at me, and you open your eyes and they're looking at you. Like that is such a good example of the intangible like connection that we all have. And it's the same way with the universe. And the thing with the universe is it has the power to bring you anything and everything that you want as long as you're a match. So part of the objective of this show, the main one, is how do we match? How do we get ourselves to match with what we want? And what are the ways to do that?
Well, and then the other science behind it too is psychology, because it's like when you give your mind a goal, it's going to achieve that goal given the circumstances, that there's not other things in your mind sabotaging the goal. So this is where you start working with your beliefs. This is where you do the visualizing. This is where you
hypnosis.
say, like,
what? Hypnosis.
Yeah, hypnosis, another tool. But it's like when you, for example, I forget the scientific term for it, but when I first started wearing glasses, reading glasses, I realized, oh my God, so many people wear glasses, and I couldn't stop seeing glasses everywhere, right? Like my brain was filtering glasses, glasses, glasses. It's the same thing when you have a goal. You set your goal on something and your mind will get you there. Also in tandem with the universe supporting you going there. So it's explained through psychology, it's explained through quantum physics. And I would say,
and there's still so much mystery. So
and yet
just like
we're
try
never
it.
gonna understand the totality of it, and that's okay, because
I love that we're not supposed to yet. But I love that you touched on when you attune, it's like that slug bug. When you're playing that slug bug game, you always see the bugs. If you have a new car, you will only see that car. If you want a car, you'll only see that car on the freeway. It's interesting that you brought that up, because we do the same thing with how we view the world. Let's say we're just only focusing on our problems. Guess what you're going to see more of? If you're worried about a certain thing and you're looking for a sign, guess what you're going to see signs for, because you're looking. So, to that end, what would happen if you just started using that power to look for positives and to find evidence of the good, and that will only bring more of it to you.
Exactly. And one of the questions you can ask yourself is, how are things already working out for me so perfectly? And then you're like, okay, well, every day my heart is beating, I'm breathing, I'm making it to and from work, I've got food in the fridge. That's when you go into your gratitude, right? And you're like, whoa, my life is so great. And then that's what you believe, and then that's what you see, and then that's what you experience. Because two different people can have the same exact life circumstances, but an entirely different reality of how they're experiencing it, based on what they're seeing, what they're feeling, what they're noticing, and what they're giving their attention to. And that's a part of the law of attraction. It's like, if you look to the right, you're going to see what's there. If you look to the left, you're going to see what's there. It's like, what are you looking for in your life? That's how you're going to cultivate more of it.
I think we've beaten this question to death.
Boom. Mic drop. Mic
drop. I hope that answers the question. Give us more questions if you have any, by the way.
The next question is, how can I set myself free and live in flow?
Ooh.
Okay, so here's what I said, and then I'll let you go into your answer.
Good question.
So in my experience, and this is what I help my one-on-one coaching clients with in our sessions, is the only way to feel totally free is to have no resistance to your experience, no matter what it is, especially emotionally. So when you what am I trying to say? When you can become comfortable in any emotional state and open your body to any emotion and let it flow through you, that's the ultimate freedom. And feeling all your feelings is the key to finding ultimate fulfillment, happiness, freedom, and peace, because every single feeling that you have is an experience of your life. And in order to be free, you have to be open to everything. And in order to feel free, you have to be free of restriction. So restriction would be like, oh, I don't want to feel sad right now. I don't have time to be angry. I can only feel positive so I can attract positive things, blah, blah, blah. These are all rules, restrictions, guidelines. Ultimate freedom is, I'm going to let life happen through me. I'm going to embrace whatever comes my way. And ultimately, that's how you can handle your life with more grace and more ease, because energy will flow through your body when you're open to it.
Agree. My biggest thing though, because I always hear this all the time, is like, yeah, okay, cool. I have to just release the resistance. Okay, but how? Because there's a thing that I do not want to look at. There's a thing that when I feel it, I shove it right back down, because and the simple explanation for it is, the emotion that you're feeling is coming from the part of your mind that houses emotions, which is the subconscious. And also that part of your mind is terrified that if you feel this for too long, you could die. Like, that's how dramatic it is. We know that you're not going to, but that's the fear. That's the fear. So how do you like overcome that? I would say, yeah, exactly. I would say
therapy.
Allow yourself to sit with it. Just sit with it. I know it's hard, dude. I know it is, but I know you can do it. Just sit with it for 1 minute and then sit with it for 2 minutes. Like, I'm of the firm belief that you could do anything for 1 minute or even 2 minutes. As long as you know there's a time limit, you could do anything. So sit with the emotion, ugly cry, write it down, allow it to just kind of flow in whatever way that it wants to manifest and process and integrate and release, and just see what happens. And we've talked about this on the show too, Kelsey, that if you can allow yourself to just sit with it and let it go, you'll be shocked at how quickly, once it's given permission to be felt and to be acknowledged, how quickly it does go. Rather than just feeling it 50% for years, you could feel it at 100% for 1 minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, maybe even 5. Okay, I'm not going to say it's only 2. If you can fully feel it in whatever way that it wants to be felt and acknowledged, like that's it. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's honestly the key that I've found to freedom. And if you're like, yo, that sounds scary as F, like, no, thank you, I want to feel free, but I don't want to do that, then I would say, well, it's going to be hard to feel free when you're putting rules like that on your life and restricting your natural humanness. But also, like, get a facilitator to help you so you feel more safe and you feel more held and more guided. Like, this is what I do with my one-on-one coaching clients. So reach out if you're like, yes, I need help processing so I can live my best life and live in a state of non-resistance, because that's where the magic can flow and that's where you can feel free. And also because a lot of the time, well, all the time, we make decisions because we are either trying to gain pleasure or avoid pain, right? And more often than not, we're making most of our decisions to avoid pain.
Yeah.
But if you can make pain your bitch and master pain, then you actually aren't scared of it anymore. And then you have the freedom to make whatever decision you actually want to make. And you don't have to live your life out of fear or manipulation or avoidance or running from something. You can actually make empowered decisions to go for what you want, because you know, even if it doesn't work out, you'll still be fine because you can handle anything. And that, my friends, is freedom.
Here's the best thing that probably the best advice I ever got, and I think it really does apply here. So a lot of times when we talk about this, like, oh, in order to be free, you have to really look at the dark parts that you have not been looking at for a long time. People get like, you can't make me. There's that resistance of like, no, I don't want to. I'm not ready. And here's what I know will help. Okay, number 1, you don't got to do anything. Nothing needs to happen today. Nothing needs to happen tomorrow. Just know, and this is the juicy part, just know that there will come a day where staying where you are will be so much more uncomfortable, and the feeling of halfway feeling it for years will become so much more uncomfortable. You are so cute. Than actually wanting to take that step forward. So right now, live in it. It's fine. You've been doing it for months, years, your whole life. You're used to it. You got this. You can do it. Nothing needs to happen today or tomorrow. Just know that eventually there will come a day where you'll be like, oh, I'm so over this. And maybe you are now, and maybe you just need a little bit longer to get there, but you're not going to be there forever. And just know that it's up to you to decide when, and nobody's going to force you to do anything. So for me, it was a breakup that needed to happen when I was told that, like, don't worry, eventually you're going to get so sick of it and the switch will flip and you're just never going to go back. And it was true. And I needed to hear it because I was like, oh, so I don't have to take any action today. Okay, cool. But having that in your brain and that little seed planted, it was really all I needed. So hopefully that's all you need to know that you're going to get yourself where you need to be.
Yeah, and if your intention and your goal and your genuine desire is to feel free, you'll get there one way or another.
You'll get there, yeah.
You will get there. It's happening. The process is already underway. So
yeah, just by listening to this weird tangent we just went on. It's lit up something in your body that's like, yes, this is truth. Even if I don't do anything about it today, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're being activated every time you listen to this show, guys.
Boom.
FYI. So you're welcome for the activation.
I think I'm being activated every time
we are activated also at the same time. Okay, this is a really cute question. It says, I'm not sure how even to start manifesting. Help. Well, one, you should just go back.
You've already started. You've been doing it your whole life. So there's no starting.
You have been manifesting your whole life. So it's more about like consciously creating things in your life.
Choosing what to manifest. Yeah.
And 3, like, listen to our podcast episodes. Go to my blog. I've written a million articles about how to manifest for beginners, the easy steps, how to set intentions, blah, blah, blah. Do some hypnotherapy with Lindsay. There's a million different ways to do it. I actually created a course a long time ago called Manifesting Masterclass, and it's like a really in-depth 30-day program for people who are new to the law of attraction and manifesting, and this will teach you all the basics that you need to know and all the practices so that you can start doing it more consciously and in a more fun way. So
I love that. I love that question. I love when people I just love it. And not to, it's hard to remember that there are people that do not know that you're manifesting all the time. There are people out there, and I get the same kind of question when it's like, what if I can't be hypnotized? It's like, you've been doing this you're an expert at going into hypnosis. Like, you do it all day, every day. So it's still like mind-boggling to me that people still are so unaware of how freaking awesome they are. Just like, look at what you can do. Look what you've been doing. Why not just make it more intentional? Like, it's so fun. It's just so fun. Anyway.
It's so fun. Ooh, here's a great question. So the next one is it possible that sometimes things get worse before they get better? Like, as soon as you set an intention. Hey there, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to watch the extended version where you get the full podcast episode in a video format, just go to patreon.com/highvibe. The link is in the description. That's where you can become a supporter of the show, listen to all the episodes via video format, and each week you get extended versions of the show, meaning you get to see the pregame behind the scenes, and also you get an extended interview with whoever we're guesting, or if it's me and Lindsay, we usually pull cards for you guys, fun stuff like that. So go check it out. There's lots of cool goodies, including a free copy of my book, a free audio hypnosis from Lindsay. She's a hypnotherapist. And yeah, we just want to give you all the goods, all the content. So head over to patreon.com/highvibe to become a Patreon.
Or if you'd rather listen to the rest of this episode, head over to highvibinit.com where you'll see all the links to everywhere that it's getting streamed. Click your favorite one and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.